Israel says 24 soldiers were killed in Gaza. Israel says a buffer zone would protect its people. Critics say the policy could be a war crime. Israel was trying to demolish part of a Palestinian neighborhood as it pursued a plan to create a buffer zone between Gaza and Israel when around 20 Israeli soldiers were killed Monday in an explosion, according to 3 Israeli officials and an Israeli officer involved in the demolitions. The U.S. strike sites in Iraq linked to militias blamed for an attack that injured 4 Americans. Al-Assad Air Base, in western Iraq, seen in 2021. Credit Ayman Henna/Agence France Presse, Getty Images. The American strikes near Iraq's border with Syria on Tuesday hit headquarters, training locations and storage areas for rockets, missiles and drones belonging to the Kataib Hezbollah militia and other Iran-affiliated groups in Iraq, according to Central Command. In another spillover from the war in Gaza, the United States and Britain carried out large-scale military strikes on Monday against 8 sites in Yemen controlled by Houthi militants. The Israeli military says about 20 soldiers were killed in a single explosion. The claim could not be independently verified. Mr. Netanyahu's stated goals of the war are eliminating Hamas and securing the release of the hostages taken during the October 7th attacks, although some Israeli military leaders have said the 2 goals are incompatible in the short term. Israelis are stunned by a day of loss, but most say they still support the war in Gaza. But there was little sense that the losses, including about 20 soldiers killed in one explosion in Khan Yunis, would change many Israelis' calculus about the war. Most Israelis believe it is justified, or displace the fate of the Israeli hostages held by Hamas as its most divisive aspect. Ending the war would make sense, Mr. Raz said, if it brought the hostages home, a goal he called paramount. More than 500,000 people in Gaza face catastrophic hunger, the UN says. Israel agrees to transfer tax money earmarked for Gaza to Norway. The Americans have said Israel should agree to have the Palestinian Authority govern both the West Bank and Gaza after the war ebbs, so future funds would need to go to the authorities' officials in Gaza in that scenario, the officials said. Israeli forces have encircled the city of Khan Yunis, the military says. Displaced civilians in the area say they have no safe place to go. Hisham Hanna, a spokesman for the International Committee of the Red Cross, who is in the Rafah area, where many Gazans have fled, described seeing streams of people leaving Khan Yunis along a coastal road well past midnight into Tuesday. Fighting in Gaza killed 6 people who took shelter at a UN facility, an aid official says. More than 25,000 people have been killed since Israel launched its campaign in Gaza to defeat Hamas more than 100 days ago, according to the health authorities in Gaza, and the UN says that 70% of those have been women or children. The US and Britain again strike Houthi sites in Yemen. Retaliation against American and British attacks is inevitable, and any new aggression will not go unpunished, a Houthi military spokesman, Yahya Sarrier, said in a statement before the latest American strikes. The Pentagon names 2 SEALs lost in a January 11th raid in the Arabian Sea. A message that was sent to active duty SEALs by a SEAL officer a day after the 2 men were lost, and that was obtained by the New York Times, said the younger SEAL had slipped from the ladder and his more experienced platoon mate went in after him. The specifics of what happened will be thoroughly investigated, a spokesman said. Israel's military says it will review its demolition of a university building in Gaza.